Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to Colonial Field in the fourth Colonial football game between the PW Colonials and the Upper Dublin Cardinals. PW comes into this game with a record of 2 wins and 1 loss, which happened last week versus the LaSalle Explorers. And the Cardinals come into tonight's matchup with an 0-3 record. Andrew, we're going to have a good game tonight.
Absolutely, and let's not forget, as always, to introduce ourselves. I'm Andrew Zimmer, and you are Eric Kitai, if I remember correctly from last game.
That is correct, as the Colonials getting ready to charge. And there they come, breaking through that banner. And they are fired up. They're not about to let last week bother them, and they're going to come out strong tonight, Andrew.
I hope so, because last week's loss might affect them greatly if they let it. We don't want that to happen. We want them to be focused. We want them, there you see us, I'm over here. We want them to be focused. We want them to be in their game. They probably just thought last week was last week, and this week is going to be this week. As
the Cardinals bang onto the field. And Andrew, we're going to see a little different kind of game from this week from last week. Last week, Pennington and Namachi were the deadly duo, and they just tore stuff up. And this week, with the Cardinals' first-string quarterback out with an injury, we're going to see a mostly rushing game with their 2-star running backs.
You are right. You are right. One thing we do have to remember is that Plymouth Whitemarsh is a 2-1 team, and Upper Dublin has yet to win a game. We don't want PW to go into this game too cocky. There you see the crowd of PW players. We don't want them to go in too cocky. There go Cupford, Tornetta, and Brown out to go get the coin toss, based by Upper Dublin's 5-man captain.
As they hold hands, the tri-captains go to the center of the field to see where the coin toss is flipped. We're going to have to look for big things out of Paul Cupford in this game. Last game, he had an interception in the first play of the game, and most of my keys of the game are around the same as they were last week. So I'm going to show you Kitai's keys.
Before we see Kitai's keys, I'd like to mention one thing that brought a loss on last game was sloppy playing by the Colonials. One thing that we need to look for out of this game is how tough Steve Fulmer is going to be. I mean, out there he missed an interception by that much. That much it took him to miss the interception. It could have been a game-changing event. But I'm sure that's all in the past now. It's only 1 loss. Nobody's ever undefeated.
And, a few of the good notes in tonight's game. We saw an injury from Tim Fleming. He was out on the ground for about an hour and a half. Even previously, after the game, he was still on the ground. But Tim is back. He had a banged-up knee. It was a bruise, and bruises hurt once in a while, and sometimes, they hurt for a period of time, but he's 100%, or close to 100%, so he's going to be in there playing physical. And the Colonials win the toss. They're going to elect to receive as they shake hands with the Cardinals, a sportsmanlike fashion.
Right now, we are going to move the show over to our Star Spangled Banner singers, and that is Greg Fisher and Alyssa Cece, both seniors here at Plymouth Whitemarsh.
So gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does the Star-Spangled Banner yet wave o'er the land on the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Greg and Alyssa, for that beautiful rendition of the Star Spangled Banner.
Thank you, Greg and Alyssa.
One thing you saw during the Star Spangled Banner there, you saw towards the end a crowd shot. There are a lot of seats open here tonight for this game. I don't know if it's because most people still think these games start at 8 o'clock or 8:30 or whenever they normally start. I mean, This game started a little earlier.
And right now, we're going to take you down to our man on the sidelines, Russell. What do you have for us, Russ?
Okay, today is September 25th, not September 18th. The important thing for the Colonials to do is to put last week behind them. Yes, we lost. It's okay. Today's another day. We have a weaker opponent today, and not only do we need to win, we need to win big. We got to get our confidence back after last week. It's going to be real important for the Colonials to come out and get on the board early. I'm looking forward to an exciting game, and I'm sure everyone else is. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Russell. It's good that you mentioned that we have to win big, because I heard somewhere that the line is PW in front by 3 touchdowns.
But you know, Andrew, we don't have to look at that 3 touchdowns factor, because last week we were favored also. Right now, all we're focusing on is winning this ball game. It doesn't matter if we win by a point. It doesn't matter if we win by 5 touchdowns. As long as we win the game, that's what goes on the record books.
You are correct. And now I believe they're getting ready to kick off.
And their kicker is Derek Olsucky. And right after this kickoff, we're going to show you Ketai's keys. As Brian Tornetta returns the ball. Breaking a few tackles as Brian Tornetta gets to about the 35-yard line.
Starting from the 35-yard line on the first play isn't a bad thing.
As the Colonials special teams runs off the field as their offense goes back on. Colonials looking to have an early score in the last few games. The Colonials have scored later than earlier. The opponents have come out earlier and basically taken control of the game to start off with, as Hatboro did last week. So PW has to come out early if we want to see a spark in this team, because the PW Colonials have been sluggish in the first quarter. As Kupfer gives it off to the running back number 6, who is Bill Boggs. And Bill Boggs runs for about 6 yards or 7 yards there, which is going to make it about a 2nd and 7 situation. As you see Bill Boggs in the monitor there.
Of course, you can't get past a first play of the game without handing off. I mean, Kupfer usually doesn't throw on the first play. Last game he threw first play from scrimmage, and it bit him in the butt. I mean, it was an interception. And so I think Kupfer's wisened up and learned his lesson. The tackle there, coincidentally, was by John Brandenburg.
As Kupfer setting the signal out. Another handoff play. This one goes to number 27, who is Justin Pratt, and Justin Pratt breaks free for that first down marker. So that's going to bring up about a 1st and 10 situation from the 48-yard line. And a few positive comments, Andrew. We have our own CITV fellow member, Sean T-Bone Tamaro, coming back into this game tonight. Sean had a broken arm, and he's back tonight's game. He's all pumped up. He's ready to play. As we see a handoff to Brian Tornetta as flags go flying. Brian breaks it down the outside and gains about 4 yards on that play.
Tackle there by Brown.
And back to what I was saying, Sean Tamaro has been is always a positive role model that people on this field look up to, and him back in the game is going to give PW another confidence booster.
Right, offensive. He plays offensive guard, I believe, on offense. Should open up a bigger hole for players such as Brian Tornetta and Billy Boggs to get in there and use their running back skills.
And as we just see, there was a 5-yard penalty assigned to the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials. Looks like it was a false start on the Colonials. As the clock starts ticking again, right now we have 10 minutes and 32 seconds left. Score is 0-0.
One good thing we have going for us is the marching band has returned to the PW bleachers. Last week they were at the Miss America pageant. This week they're back in the bleachers, and they should give us a confidence boost.
Tornetta in motion. And the ball gets handed off to Justin Pratt. Justin breaks his way for about 2 yards on that play, which is going to bring about a 3rd and 13 situation for the Colonials.
Rick Eastern there did a good job of bringing down the running back before he could get any major yardage.
So right now, as the Colonials are in the huddle, Paul Kupfer gets a sign from his sidelines. Tells the rest of his team, breaks out of the huddle. And it looks like the Colonials are coming out a little bit more aggressive, Andrew.
They have to come out more aggressive coming off a loss. They can't let the crowd or themselves know.
Kupfer back to pass. Kupfer passes it off complete to Brian Tornetta, and Tornetta gets near the first down markers. Doesn't quite get it, though. He's going to be about a yard shy of that first down, so that's going to bring him about a 3rd and 1 situation.
Tornetta there wide open. Kupfer had his good eye going for him there before Tornetta was brought down by Chris Engert, playing for Upper Dublin. Anyway, as I was saying before, they can't let anybody, they can't let the other team or the crowd know that they're not aggressive, they're not willing to get in there and fight.
And it does not look like PW is going to be intimidated by this Upper Dublin team.
Oh, I hope not.
Handoff to number 6, Bill Boggs. Bill Boggs breaks it free. Bill Boggs down the sidelines, and Bill Boggs gets taken out of bounds, and that's going to be a first down for the Colonials. As the chains move.
He got a gain of about 8 there, would you say?
I would say it was about, I would say it was a little more than 8, because they had a 3rd down and 12 situation, I believe.
That was 3rd and 1.
Oh, 3rd and 1, my fault. Brian Tornetta caught that ball. So yeah, he gained about 8 yards on that play. Right now the ball being handoff, and Pratt goes down the middle for a gain of about 4 yards. That's going to bring up about a 2nd and 6 situation. So Justin Pratt has about 6 yards thus far in this game.
PW's running game coming out strong early. Boggs already has 16, Travellini and Pratt have about 10 combined. Kupfer just got to keep giving it off, and there's one.
As Kupfer gives it to Bill Boggs. Bill Boggs down the sidelines. And it looks like Bill Boggs is going to get the first down, and does. So as the officials spot it on the 19-yard line, I believe, that's going to move the chains again. And PW, Andrew, definitely coming out a lot more aggressive than last week. Last week, you know, they gave the ball away early, and they didn't make a lot happen. They let up most of the points in the first quarter. They let up all the points that they gave up in the first quarter. They outscored Hatboro in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th quarter, but the first quarter, Hatboro just took a commanding lead. The Colonials could not come back from that deficit.
I believe they played LaSalle last week.
LaSalle, that's what I meant. And Brian Tornetta, early score, and they go to Brian Tornetta for the touchdown. So Tornetta gaining about 19 yards there.
That was a good run by Brian Tornetta, and
Yes,
I couldn't really see from up here in the press box, but I think our new guy just came back. Tamaro had something to do with it. I mean, he opened up a hole in there, I believe. I couldn't tell from up here. This big pole was in the way, but Tamaro looked like he had something to do with stopping that defense from getting the Tornetta in time.
And I don't care how big those pads are. I would not want to be in the way of that cast, Andrew.
Definitely not.
As Stokes comes on for the extra point. The snap, the kick is up, and the kick is right in the uprights. So that's going to be 7-0 in favor of the Colonials. Definitely a better start than their previous games. The Colonials coming off now have an early lead. Usually in the last few games, they've given up that lead in the first quarter. But right now they're fired up. They just drove right downfield, took no mercy, and now they have a 7-0 lead in result of that. So right now with 7 minutes and 41 seconds, if you're just joining us, left in this first quarter, Brian Tornetta for a 19-yard touchdown run, which makes the score 6-0. And Stokes comes on to make this a 7-0 lead.
While you're talking about Greg Stokes, it reminded me of something. I have 2 previous score updates for you. Field hockey, our girls won 1-0 on a Liz Reagan goal, assist by, I can't think of who it was right now, and also the soccer team won 1-0 on a kick by Greg Stokes, actually. So he's good at kicking in more than one sport. Katrina Metz was the girl that assisted Liz Reagan.
And soccer does play a part. I mean, as you see from the last few years, Matt Fold, who was the kicker last year, he played a lot of soccer. Greg Stokes comes in this year, a varsity soccer player. And next year, John Casey hopes to be the PW kicker, and he's a soccer player as well. So it looks like that soccer shows, you know, gives that foot a chance to get warmed up. As the ball goes out of bounds,
a good kick there on the part of Greg Stokes. He kicked the ball, and it went out of bounds right in front.
And the ball's going to be spotted around the
20.
18-yard line.
And it's good. It's better than if it went in the air and got to the kick returner, and he took it back to the 35, just like Brian Tornetta. So kicking it out of bounds at the 18-yard line, not a bad move.
And the crowd is filling up a little more in these stands.
Actually, I forgot about a rule. They're spotting the ball at the 35-yard line. If it goes out of bounds and nobody touches it, it goes to the 35-yard line. Completely blew my mind.
So right now the quarterback is number 10, Doug Tewksbury.
And he bobbles it a little.
But it gets handed off to number 20, who is Ricky Stern.
He was pushed out of bounds there by big Chuck Tornetta. He was bobbling the ball. He couldn't make any forward gain while he was bobbling the ball like that. Chuck Tornetta took advantage of it and toppled over him after a gain of about 4.
In this game, you're going to see a much different, like I said before, you're going to see a much different game than LaSalle last week. Pennington and Namachi were a great duo, and we're going to have 2 great running backs in this Upper Dublin Cardinals team, as the first-string quarterback went out with an injury. So now we have Doug Tewksbury in the second string, as there's 2 running backs, as I mentioned, in the backfield. And it looks like there's a flag on the play.
Extra man in motion, I believe.
It looks like it might have been an offsides play. So if it was on the Colonials, and it was offsides. So that's going to be a 5-yard penalty, which is going to make it 2nd and 1.
Actually, that was Chuck Tornetta that jumped the gun there.
But not really much harm done. It's not like they're really downfield. They're only on the 44-yard line, so they're not going to really have much to worry about until Upper Dublin drives a little more downfield. You still don't want to give up those penalty yards because they kill you in the long run. Right now there's a handoff, and number 30 gets destroyed. Number 30 is Steve Mastromato.
Brought down by Brian Tornetta. But at least he got that first down before being destroyed by Tornetta.
So Tewksbury doesn't look to be throwing the ball much. He hasn't thrown the ball at all. But he has a great backfield behind him, as the center just jumps up there ready to get pumped up and ready to do the next play. Everybody else was slacking behind him, but Tewksbury gets the snap. He's going to fake it. He throws it. It's caught.
It's intercepted. I mean,
it's caught by number 46.
He didn't catch it. It was an incomplete pass. It rolled out of bounds.
The pass was attempted to number 46, Marcus.
So the ball goes out of bounds.
It was attempted to Vince Markey, the wide receiver.
So that's going to bring up a 2nd and 10 situation from the 49-yard line. And there's a timeout being assessed to the Colonials, as the Colonials get a freshman. So the Colonials have, as you see in the monitor, the marching Colonials, who did an outstanding job at the Miss America pageant this last weekend, and as I was mentioning, Colonials, they have a loss to the team. We're not going to get into the details of it, but Greg Ramsey are no longer going to be a member of this Colonial team. That's all I'm going to say about that. But that's going to probably be a big loss to the Colonials team. He was a big guy, and he was very physical in the game.
And we definitely miss him here at PW. So Greg, if you're watching, you're truly missed here on the PW field. Anyway, you've noticed that PW's defense has really stepped it up and gotten in the way of the running backs and forced an incomplete pass. Let's see if the defense continues to do just that.
As number 3, Brandenburg in motion. Number 10 goes back, throws it to Brandenburg, and it looks like it's going to be a...
Oh, my!
And what a great play as he's tripped off by Brian Tornetta on the 10-yard line. A flea flicker was the play on that. That was just a great play. I haven't seen that in a while, Andrew.
Let me tell you what happened there. I love this play, and it's not valid in regular NFL. You can only do it in college and high school. That was about, first let me tell you that was about a 55-yard pickup on that play. You can throw a sideways pass to a man in motion as long as he passes it back from scrimmage, and then he can second pass it up to whoever he wants.
So why is that illegal in the NFL?
You can't have a double pass like that. It's just a rule that you can do in college.
Although I have seen running backs get the ball handed off and then throw the ball.
And that would be a true flea flicker. This was kind of a fake a modified flea flicker.
As Tewsbury hands off the ball to number 20, and number 20 gets stopped up for a gain of about 4 yards.
Ricky Stern. Let me tell you why that play went wrong, why the PW bit to the flea flicker on that last play before. They saw Brandenburg get the ball. They didn't even realize that Brandenburg had nowhere to go, and they just went after him. PW had no thought in their head that he was going to go all the way up to Markey
and
on that play.
Stern getting tackled by number 32, fullback / defense of player Tim Fleming. As we mentioned earlier, Tim Fleming out during the second half of last week's game, but thank God he's all right, and he's back in this game playing physical as ever. So right now, Tewsbury gets the snap, hands it off as there's flags on the play.
That was Mike Brown who jumped for Upper Dublin there, number 28. So it's probably going to be a false start.
Let's see what the official call is. And it is a false start on the Upper Dublin Cardinals, and that's going to make it a second and 13 situation on the 9-yard line. Or on the 13-yard line, excuse me. So right now there's 5 minutes and ticking left in this first quarter. Colonials have a 7-0 lead. They drove down the field on their first possession, and Brian Tornetta broke it loose for a 19-yard touchdown run. So the Colonials coming out a little more aggressive in this game, and it definitely looks to be an advantage for them. Because you definitely need that first icebreaker, Andrew, to show that you have, show that you're not taking any mercy.
But now the defense has to really stop Upper Dublin from making a big play here.
Tewsbury back to pass, and he's sacked. Tewsbury is sacked on the 20-yard line, it looks like, by number 44, number 68. That's Jeff Brown and Chuck Tornetta, and they are two captains, and they're showing this team what they can do.
Jeff Brown just toppled right over him. Chuck Tornetta was just there for backup. It was all Jeff Brown there. He pounced on top of him. Oh, wow. That was a nice play.
So with a 3rd and long situation coming up for these Cardinals, it's probably going to be a passing play, and if we can result that in a field goal, hopefully the field goal will not be made, but if we can only hold them to a field goal, that would definitely be a positive, because they had 1st and goal on the 4-yard line.
One thing that we didn't mention just now on this last play, even though that was a beautiful sack, there was a penalty. It was holding on PW, and that negates the sack. So Brown no longer has a sack credited to his name. The ball will advance. It's now going to make it, it's going to go from 3rd and 18 to probably 3rd and 8. Holding penalty is worth 5. And it will also be 2nd down. You get the play over again, as well as getting the yardage back.
So it's going to be a 2nd and 10 on the 10-yard line with 3 minutes and 58 seconds and ticking left in this first quarter. Just joining us, the Colonials have a 7-0 lead.
You know what this means, Eric.
What does this mean, Andrew?
It's almost inevitable that Upper Dublin will score in some way on this play. I mean, they're within 10 yards of the end zone, and they have 3 downs. They have 2nd, 3rd, and 4th down with which to score a touchdown. If they fail on all 3, if they fail on 2 of them, they can kick a field goal.
Let's see what happens. Tewsbury hands it off, and number 4, I believe, who is Justin Newman, is stopped up after a gain of about 3 yards, which is going to bring up about a 3rd down and 7 situation on the 7-yard line.
Elzar Camper there making the tackle.
So as you see the versatility showing on this Colonials team, a great, after that semi-flea flicker, Brian Tornetta, star running back on this Colonials team, tackles a man. Tim Fleming tackles a guy to prevent him from the touchdown, and Elzar Camper, a great wide receiver on this Colonials team, just stopped for, a Cardinals guy for a touchdown. So the versatility in this team is great.
Let me say something. Look for Tewsbury to air it out here.
And Upper Dublin going to a full house backfield.
I lied. He's going to hand it off. I didn't even look at that
Flags
setup.
fly on the play, and let's see what the official ruling is.
I believe Plymouth Whitemarsh took it a little too early.
That's going to be a...
Oh, it's holding.
That's going to be a delay of game assessed to the Upper Dublin Cardinals, which is a 5-yard penalty, I believe. So that's going to bring, and that's a timeout on the Cardinals side, but that's going to bring up about a 3rd and long situation again.
Well, this makes it 3rd and about 13, which means that they're definitely going to air it out here. There's no way they can't. 3rd and 14, you're not going to run. If you're going for a field goal, you run. But I think they want a touchdown. They're down 7-0. They want the touchdown. It's time for them to air it out.
And right now, most of the walking room is being taken up by some of these Colonial spectators, which usually occurs around this time. And there you see us in the monitor if you look.
Hi. That's Anthony Zangara giving us that beautiful shot, that steady shot.
So as the Colonial fans start getting pumped up once again, it's going to bring about a 3rd and 14 situation on the 14-yard line.
Most of the PW alumni here at Plymouth Whitemarsh, of course, they all stand by the fence. None of them ever sit down. Something I've noticed: the adults sit down, the little kids sit down. PW, they got to be cool. They stand over there. It's something I've noticed.
That is true. And right now, Tewsbury about to get the snap on the 15-yard line. Pass it off to number 20. Number 20, pass it off, intercepted by Brian Tornetta to prevent the touchdown. And Brian Tornetta brings it up to about the 10-yard line. A great interception from Brian Tornetta. And Andrew, it looks like your prediction on the score on the part of Upper Dublin Cardinals was wrong, and we're glad it was wrong because Brian Tornetta intercepts that, brings it to about the 10-yard line as the Colonials prevent that score. And now as they lead 7-0, they're looking to drive once again with 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in this first quarter.
And let me remind all our viewers that if you're going to watch a PW Colonials football game, get the Advil before you sit down. And here you're going to see this beautiful interception by Brian Tornetta. Tewsbury just had nowhere to go. He hands it off to his wide receiver, who threw it to right, intended for a receiver, of course. Got into Brian Tornetta's hands instead.
As Paul Kupfer hands the ball off to number 27, Justin Pratt, who gains about 5 yards in that play. So once again, as you saw in that replay, Tewsbury laterals the ball to number 20, who is the running back, Stern, and Stern has nowhere to go. He's about to get tackled, so he throws it off unwisely and intercepted nowhere, no white jerseys at all in the field of play, but Stern just released that ball, and Tornetta had absolutely nothing to do with intercept that ball. So it's going to be a 2nd and 1 situation after a 9-yard gain.
Tried that flea flicker play once too often.
Kupfer hands it off, and it's going to be for a 1st down to Justin Pratt. Pratt gets about 2 yards on that play. So as the chains move with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left in this first quarter, the Colonials lead 7-0 on a 19-yard run by Brian Tornetta in the first quarter on their first possession.
One thing we have to remember about last week's game is LaSalle had that option play which PW could not figure out till the very end of the game. I mean, here we go with Upper Dublin's trick play, the flea flicker. PW figured it out right after the first time. They're not going to let him do it again. As
Bill Boggs goes in motion, the handoff to Bill Boggs. Bill Boggs breaking it down the middle. Bill Boggs, and he is tripped up for a gain of 15 yards, which brings the Colonials to another 1st down and to the 39-yard line.
He really loves that that spin move. You saw at the end there he tried to perform on Justin Newman and Vince Markey before they brought him down.
So the Colonials get to the 39-yard line, or about the 40-yard line, excuse me. So it's going to be a 1st and 10 from the 40 with 1 minute and 23 seconds left in this first quarter. So the Colonials definitely the aggressor in this game thus far, and we're very happy to see that. So right now the Colonials get set as Paul Kupfer ready for the snap. Brian Tornetta in motion. Handoff going to number 32, Tim Fleming.
Oh!
And Tim Fleming is tackled for a loss, but there is a flag on the play.
That was a vicious hit by number 28, Mike Brown. They were bringing him down, and Brown just
Nailed him.
drove right. He nailed him. Thank you. He nailed him.
Fleming lost about 3 yards on that
And he's
carry.
walking off the field. I think he's a little shaken up there. But you got to give him credit. He can take a hit.
There was a flag on the play. Let's see what the ruling was. And the penalty was against the Cardinals, so that negative loss, it's a 15-yard penalty, so it's a face mask penalty we see. So that's going to move the chains once again to another first down for the Colonials. So that negative rushing play was nullified.
Yes, yes.
As Colonials driving on the 49-yard line. And here we go, Brian Tornetta. Here we go, Brian Tornetta. He's got one man to beat, and he beats him. Brian Tornetta for a 49-yard touchdown run for his second touchdown of the game.
Brian Tornetta, not his second touchdown of the game. Oh, yeah, it is his second touchdown of the game. This drive was all Brian Tornetta. I mean, first he got the interception to spark the offense. 1 or 2 plays in, Tornetta just goes all the way. I mean, Tornetta just absolutely tore away. And he weaves in and out of the defenders.
And Tornetta's speed was no match for the defender for Upper Dublin, and Tornetta was off to the races. As the Colonial fans are getting hyped now, as the footballs flying to the stands from the cheerleaders, as Stokes almost gets the extra point block, but it's good for a 14-0 lead. So right now there's 47 seconds left in this first quarter. The Colonials take a 14-0 lead by Brian Tornetta's second rushing touchdown of the day. His first one was for 19 yards, and this one for a powering 49 yards. So right now, the Colonials definitely off to a better start than they did in the last game against LaSalle Explorers. LaSalle scored first, second, and third in the first quarter in that game, but the Colonials have the first 2 scores in this quarter.
You got to admire the Upper Dublin's defensive players. I mean, number 46, Vince Markey, who's also a wide receiver. Brian Tornetta was 2 yards from the end zone and about the 5-yard. He dove for a last try to tackle him. I mean, what good would 1 yard before an end zone have done it? But you got to admire that they always go for it. Eric, why don't you tell us what went wrong with the defense there?
All right. Right now, Brian Tornetta breaking this loose. He almost gets tackled by number 45, it looks like, but Brian Tornetta just beat him out straight, and Brian Tornetta just showed his speed and took it in for the touchdown as the ball was kicked off by Stokes. And it's going to be taken to about the 39-yard line, I believe, so that's going to bring about 1st and 10 for the Cardinals on the 39-yard line.
In that replay, you didn't exactly see Tornetta weaving in and out of the defense, but you did see number 46 Vince Markey's last try, like I mentioned right before the replay.
So right now, the Upper Dublin Cardinals are going to have a 1st and 10 situation on the 49-yard or the 39-yard line. Excuse me. Tewsbury with number 46 in motion. Hands it off for a gain of about 1 yard if he's lucky.
Tornetta there brought down Ricky Stern.
Big Chuck Tornetta on that takedown for a gain of 1 yard, which is going to bring up a 2nd and 9 situation from the 41-yard line. So as Big Chuck Tornetta and the rest of his red squad are making the defense very, what's the word I'm looking for, Andrew? Very
scared? Fearful?
They're very intimidating on the defense. As Tewksbury back to pass, and he gets taken down for the sack and a loss of 5 yards. That's going to bring up a 3rd down and 14 situation for the Upper Dublin Cardinals, and a great play from Chuck Tornetta and his crew.
True, you got to admire Ricky Stern on the Upper Dublin team. He returns the kickoffs. He has all the running plays almost. He's middle linebacker. I mean, he does a lot. Not saying that the PW guys don't do a lot, but Ricky Stern he's my second non-PW hero after what's his name from last week's game?
Amachi.
No, the other guy.
Pennington.
See, my hero, and I can't even remember his name.
Right now, we're going to go down to our man on the sidelines, Russ. What do you got for us, Russ?
All right, real good first quarter for the Colonials. 3 major points. Offense, they did good. Brian Turnetta, 2 touchdowns. Bill Boggs broke a huge run there, too. Did a real good job on offense, moving the ball downfield. Defense also did a good job. Upper Dublin managed to get the ball down low. Defense did a good job of the tournament, which brings me to my third point, which is turnovers. They got the turnover. They moved the ball back. They're doing everything they have to do. Looks like it's going to be a great second quarter, too. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Russ. Very informative. One thing I forgot to mention about Ricky Stern is he's a small guy, and with PW's big linemen, they're going to give it to him real hard. By the end of the game, he's going to be whipped. But he's still my hero.
Tewsbury getting the snap as number 3 goes in motion. And it looks like he's back to pass. Chuck Tornetta almost takes him down and almost intercepted. Right now in that situation, Andrew, Tewsbury was probably better off throwing that ball out of bounds. He threw that ball to get rid of taking the chance of getting sacked by big Chuck Tornetta, number 68, and he just threw that ball away, and it was nearly intercepted by a Colonial.
Well, let me tell you why it was almost intercepted. One thing you got to remember about throwing it out of bounds is you have to make it look like someone's there to catch it, otherwise it's intentional grounding. And nobody was really running up the sidelines on the Upper Dublin team, so if he threw it out of bounds, he would have been nailed by the refs for intentional grounding, made it a worse situation. So what he did was he looked for the white jersey that had the least number of red jerseys around it and looked and tossed towards there. I mean, he knew what he was doing. He was under pressure. That's how quarterbacks get drilled. Of course, it didn't do him much good because there's a punter coming on the field, but...
So it's a punting situation and a pretty decent line drive punt being returned by number 7, Brian Tornetta. Tornetta breaking a tackle.
Brian Tornetta brings the ball.
He got wrapped around his legs.
Ooh, I just noticed something about the PW helmets. I believe they have stickers on them. You know how players get stickers when they do something good? I think Brian Tornetta's helmet had a whole bunch of stickers on it. And I'm wondering if the coach is writing down right now, give Brian Tornetta 3 stickers already. 1 interception, 2 touchdowns. And it's only 4 games in the season with about 50 stars on his helmet.
That's true. So after that punt by the Upper Dublin Cardinals, as number 21 goes in motion. Number 21 is Bob Travellini. Travellini off to the races. Travellini, nobody is catching Bobby Travellini. And Travellini getting his first rushing touchdown of the season. Breaks it for 37 yards. And
37.
Actually, it was
more like
63 yards. Excuse me. So
from the 37-yard line.
37-yard line, breaks it for 63 yards. And that's going to bring the Colonials up to a 20-0 score. Bobby Travellini pumped up after his first rushing touchdown of the season. And we just broke right through this Upper Dublin team, and now we can see why Upper Dublin is 0-3. They're not very good on this defensive of stopping the rush, because as you can see, we have 3 rushing touchdowns thus far in this game.
And not only 3 rushing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns on 3 offensive sets. We didn't punt the ball away. We didn't get any kickoffs.
And the extra point is wide left, so Stokes misses that. It's going to be a 20-0 lead remaining for the Colonials with 10 minutes and 42 seconds left. And as Russell mentioned, you know, he had a few good points. Turnovers are definitely a key factor. If you look in any game, whether it's high school, college, or in the professional level, turnovers play a big part because they add up. And Andrew, we're going to see a look at this last
yeah, I want you to watch
touchdown.
how Bobby Travellini just breaks every single tackle in sight. If we get the replay up. Here we go. Here's Paul Kupfer giving it off to Bobby Travellini, and he's off. He's off. Just watch. There's 6 guys around him. None of them could get him.
And Bob,
it's like a circus out there.
And Bob showing definitely that strength he's got. He broke a few tackles in that play, and he just went right through, took no mercy, went down the sidelines, didn't look back to see if there was anybody going for him.
Ooh, they
as the ball almost went up to the to the announcing booth.
Those cheerleaders got better arms than Paul Kupfer. They almost got one of those plastic footballs up here to the booth. I'll tell you what, though, if I catch one, I'm throwing it back.
I won't. I like those little white footballs.
I got one last year. It doesn't matter.
They're made out of better material. But enough about the footballs. Right now, Stokes ready to kick off the ball. A great kick down to about the 15-yard line. Returned by an Upper Dublin Cardinal, who runs too fast for his own 2 feet and gets tripped up by himself. That's number 20.
That's Ricky Stern. As you see on the field there, you see Ricky Stern, about the 5th man from the right. He is the smallest one out there, as I mentioned before. He's not very big, but he's pretty fast. I mean, he's got some speed. But we got speed that can match him, and we got a defensive line that just, you know, they don't care if the guy is small. They only care if they get the tackle/sack.
So right now, Upper Dublin getting ready.
10:33 left to play in the second quarter here.
Handoff. Straight down the middle for a gain of about 5 or 6 yards on that. That's gonna bring up a 2nd and 10 situation, or 2nd and 5 situation, excuse me, from about the 40 or the 41-yard line.
Oh, Ricky Stern just stepped it up with, I believe that was Brian Tornetta. He got up.
There's a flag on that play, Andrew, and it looks like it might be unsportsmanlike conduct.
I think it is, because Ricky Stern just got up, stood up, right against one of the defensive linemen. Could have been one of the Tornetta brothers. Was it Chuck Tornetta? And I just said he was a small guy and that PW's defense would show no mercy, and he just got right up and got right in Chuck Tornetta's face. I mean, the little kid's got some guts.
He's got guts. I wouldn't try that. Chuck Tornetta's a big boy, and I would not want to step in front of him.
And cheerleaders having a little bit of trouble with the 20 push-ups they now have to do. I saw a few of them cheat, but we won't tell them. Anyway, now it's going to be 2nd and... I think it's going to be 2nd and 19.
It was a 15-yard penalty assessed to the Cardinals, so that's going to move them back. Excuse me, I have a little cold going on tonight. You're going to have to bear with me.
It is first down. I'm sorry, first down and
First down and 21 for the Colonials on the 35-yard line.
For the Colonials or for the Upper Dublin?
For the Upper Dublin Cardinals, I believe. Excuse me.
You're excused. Yeah, I knew it was 2nd down. What was going on here?
That was a personal foul.
2nd down. The dial-it counter, whatchamacallit, the dial-it down was wrong.
It was a, anyway, it was a.
Uh-oh.
And the Colonials, I don't know if, I mean, I think they got him down
Yeah,
right there, but he
that's
got
down.
back up, so I don't know what the refs are going to
No, the refs are going to call him down, definitely. If they,
appreciate this. Actually, it looks to be they're holding up their hands where the ball was taken down, so I don't think they're going to call him down on that first takedown, but I think his knee was down, personally, so.
Justin Newman, I'll tell you something, that's the guy that caught the pass there. He took it, he slipped up, and he must have been thinking about the slip, because he got up and he ran right into 5 Colonials for a loss of 4.
Right now they're on the 19-yard line. So it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 25 situation on the 20-yard line with 9 minutes remaining in this second quarter. So the Colonials, once again, off to a much better start than they were last week when, in the first quarter, LaSalle just dominated them. And another takedown by number 44, Jeff Brown, right away, and the scraps were picked up by Big Chuck Tornetta.
On the tackle, carries by Ricky Stern.
So this is going to bring up 4th down.
And it's definitely a punting situation on 4th and 25.
I wouldn't doubt it.
As Brian Tornetta going back to about the 45-yard line.
4th and 25, I mean, I don't see a running play here.
And Andrew, in the center of the field, the 50-yard marker is blue and red, and I did not know that. I guess they must have painted that.
What was it before?
I guess white, but not very relevant.
I believe it was always blue and red, but I could be wrong. We'll check the tapes later. It's a good kick by the
Takes a good Upper Dublin bounce.
by the punter. The punter, of course, being Derek Uluski, I believe.
And number 7 down that, which was Antwin Cavanis.
Antwin Cavanis.
Lovely.
Second cousin to Chikwira Machi.
Andrew's favorite player of last week. So that's going to be on the 36-yard line, I believe, or the 37-yard line. Bring up a 1st and 10 situation. with 8 minutes remaining left in this first half. Colonials up 20-0. Colonials scored 14 points with the 2 touchdowns from Brian Tornetta and then Bob Travellini breaking one loose for more than 60 yards for the 3rd touchdown. Justin Pratt taking the carry there for about 3 or 4 yards. He's probably going to bring up about a 2nd down and 6 situation.
Gain of 3 for the Colonials, 2nd down, 7.
Right now, the stands seem to be pretty full, as does the standing room in this Colonial Field atmosphere. So, have no doubt, it doesn't matter how the Colonials performed last week. They have supporting fans and will always have supporting fans as long as there's a football team in PW.
I wouldn't doubt it. PW's always been known for its tradition of excellence.
Kupfer hands it off to Brian Tornetta. Brian Tornetta on a great second effort gets about 2 yards shy of the first down for a gain of about 5 yards, Andrew. He was about to get sacked, or tackled, rather. He was tackled by
Mike Levin is his name.
Levin, number 65. And Brian Tornetta was probably going to be taken down for no gain or maybe a loss of a few yards. But on that second effort, he just dove forward, taking no mercy once again.
You know what? I hate the word second effort. I always try to use continuous effort whenever possible because it really is a continuous effort. He doesn't stop trying, you know? It's just an ism I have. You know, I'm not busting on you or anything. But.
So right now, Bob Travellini breaking a few tackles once again, and he's gets the first down plus a few yards. That's going to bring him up to about the 49-yard line, not the 51-yard line.
Were you going to say 51-yard line?
I wasn't going to say 51.
I might just have to smack you in the back of the head. He was brought down there by Steve Mastromato.
I was going to say 50-yard line, but it was the 51-yard line. I mean the 49-yard line, excuse me. I keep saying 51-yard line. It doesn't matter, though.
Whatever it is, they're 49 yards away from one end zone, 51 yards away from the other end zone.
That's correct. As Paul Kupfer going back to pass. He's got Jeff Brown wide open.
Yes,
Jeff
yes,
Brown.
yes.
Oh, right out of Jeff Brown's hands. That was a touchdown waiting to happen, but Jeff Brown started running before he got the ball.
Do you know if they sell Tylenol at the concession stand? I might just have to get some at halftime. Anyway, what happened there was Jeff Brown, I guess he was just a little too relaxed that he had a 20-0 lead, and his effort wasn't as great as it could be because it bobbles right out of his hands. I mean, Paul Kupfer placed it right where he needed it. You couldn't design a better pass than that.
I don't know if it has anything to do with effort. I think he just got a little too anxious, turned his head a little too soon, and he just flat out, it hit him in a bad place, Andrew, right in his hands.
That, of course, is the worst place
a
to
reverse
get a pass.
To Brian Tornetta, who gains about 4 yards, which is going to bring up about a 3rd and 6 situation. Nobody's fault. It was just an incomplete pass. It happens to everyone.
Always. We don't have to. Jeff Brown is a good guy. There's no reason to pick on him. Inside, reverse there, Jason Mandel mentioned last week that is a PW favorite. Craig Quinn and James Scott used to do it all the time. This year we got Billy Boggs and Brian Tornetta. 4-yard pickup there. That is a favorite play. It happens to be one of my favorites that PW does.
So right now, Paul Kupfer handing the ball off.
No,
actually, he fake-handed off and got sacked for a loss of about 5 yards. That's going to be about a 4th and 12 situation.
Paul Kupfer never just drops back to pass. It's always a play action with him. He always fakes hands off. It's play action and then he goes back. And one of the disadvantages to play action is if you're going to make it look like a fake, you can't really concentrate on your surroundings. So he looked at Brian Tornetta to fake the handoff to him, and he didn't even see the sacker come up on his blind side.
And here comes the punter, or he's already on the field actually, Steve Fulmer. Fulmer gets the snap a little high, but no matter. And a great punt by Steve Fulmer. Taken with a fair catch on the 20-yard line. An outstanding punt from Steve Fulmer. That ball sailed about 40 yards or so, Andrew.
Of course, always great for a high school punter to break 40 yards. Most NFL kickers can't get 50.
But once again, you can't dwell on, the bad plays in the game as well as other games, because right now all you have to look at is the Colonials are up 20-0. And that's all that matters. If they give the ball away a few times, it's no harm done, no sweat off their shoulders because they have a lead right now, so that's all that matters, right, Andrew?
Sweat off their shoulders?
Their chins, sweat off their bodies. It doesn't matter.
Isn't it sweat off their backs?
Maybe same thing.
That was illegal procedure against PW. So they're going to repunt. So here it comes. Another beauty.
This one doesn't travel quite as far. About 10.
The ball is on the 29-yard line.
So
First and 10 Cardinals.
as the ball goes about 10 yards shyer, does that make sense? 10 yards shy of the previous kick.
Right, well, the penalty was 10 yards.
So it was about the same distance.
Right. Illegal procedure. You want to explain what that means? Or you want to let me?
It basically
two
means
men
that
in
there's
motion.
two men in motion. There's just a legal procedure on the field, hence the name, illegal procedure.
Fabulous analysis, Keatai.
Okay.
First
So
and 10
right
for the
now-
Upper Dublin Cardinals.
Tewsbury hands the ball off. A pretty decent run. Breaks it to the outside. That's a gain of about 20 yards. And he almost gets nailed by the bench as number 20,
Oh.
Ricky Stern. And there's some
Ricky Smith threw some nasty words towards the PW bench there. I could see his lip. What did I say, Smith?
Yes.
Towards the PW bench there. You could see him.
So
Watch,
right now, Andrew,
maybe,
you're gonna take us through this replay.
absolutely.
And
Maybe we can see how Ricky Smith, what he said, because
Stern?
whatever. Anyway, here comes Smith along the outside, just running towards the sidelines, coming down, and he's hit hard, and he's down.
His name's Stern.
I didn't say Smith
Yes,
again,
you
did I?
Yes, you did, but it doesn't matter. I don't think Stern's gonna be watching this football
But
game.
if he does, we have to apologize to him, of course.
I'm sorry. Anyway, so the running play gains about 1 yard, so that's going to be about a 2nd and 9 situation on the 49-yard line. So right now there's 4 minutes and ticking left in this first half on Colonial Field in this 4th game. Once again, the Colonials came into this game with a 2-1 record. Their first loss came last week against the LaSalle Explorers, and Upper Dublin comes into this game with an 0-3 record.
You know what?
So the Colonials definitely favored.
I believe that all of our sports teams have a winning record at this point in time. I know we obviously know football does. Field hockey does. They're like 8-2. Soccer does, I believe.
As Stern goes around, gains about a yard more, so that's going to be about a 3rd down and 7 situation. So keep going with what you were saying, Andrew.
Cross country, I believe, won a few times. I think the girls volleyball is ahead in their record. I'm not quite sure how the golf system works, but I'm sure they're doing great. CITV's own Steve Moore is on the golf team. That's all I can think of.
So basically, PW is a well-rounded school athletically.
PW is a well-rounded
Sports-wise.
school, period.
Yes, they are. An institution of higher learning.
I believe we're ranked 3rd in the entire area. We used to be 1st, but now we're 3rd.
Right now, Tewsbury, with number 46 in motion, gets the snap. It's a handoff right down the middle, and that's going to be for a gain of about 4 yards, which is still going to leave him shy of the first down by about 4 yards, which is going to bring him about a 4th and 4 situation on the 42-yard line, I believe. 43-yard line.
Yeah, you just saw Stern there for a carry of about 4, and
Andrew,
and
what's surprising?
he was very slow getting to his feet there. As I said, PW's defense was going to take it to him hard. He was really slow getting to his feet there. They had to help him up. But obviously now we've seen he's the go-to guy.
And what I was about to say is it wouldn't surprise me if they went for it being down 20-0 with 2 minutes left. And as I just said, they are going to be going for it as it's a 4th down and 3 situation. Tewsbury back to pass. Tewsbury about to get nailed. Gives it off, and it's not complete. It's incomplete. Tewsbury gets nailed by number 21. Is that Bob Travellini, or is that number 27, Justin Pratt? It's number 27, Justin Pratt.
I believe it's Justin Pratt, yeah.
So Justin Pratt
It was Pratt.
nails the quarterback, Tewsbury. So with a minute and 54 seconds actually left in this first half, the Colonials will take over on downs on the 43-yard line with 57 yards to go for the touchdown.
I'll tell you why this makes me excited here. I mean, not just because we're up 20-0, but if the game continues on the pace that it is running on right now, we could be 40-0 at the beginning of the fourth quarter, which means we're going to see some second-string action, which is what I really like, is to see the PW bench out there playing.
Kupfer back to pass. Kupfer lets it go. And it's not going to be called intentional grounding, but Kupfer was getting sacked smartly, gives the ball off. And I guess the ref looked at it as he was in motion and going down. The ball just didn't have enough velocity to go far.
The only Colonial, even in the vicinity of where that ball landed, was Chuck Tornetta, and I don't think he can receive any passes.
No, he cannot. Chuck's an ineligible receiver.
Yes. And that was an almost sack. We'll call it an almost sack by Steve Mastromato. Second and 10.
But have no fear, we have 3 downs left to get 10 yards and another 50 yards about for the first down. As a handoff.
Oh, Tim Fleming tripped right after getting to his feet.
So Fleming gets about 7 yards on that carry.
Tripped up by Mastromato even.
Going to be about a 3rd and 3 situation. And if I were the Colonials right here, I would probably run the ball, Andrew. I would not go for a pass because basically the Colonials are averaging a lot more than 3 yards a run, and all we need is a first down. So we have 4 fresh downs to go for the touchdown. And if we air the ball out now, then we're going to only have 1 down left, and it's going to be a critical situation.
Well,
for
if they do hand off, they're going to be handing off to Tornetta.
And they do. But Tornetta is taken down for a loss.
I guess who that was that brought him down?
Who was that?
Ricky Stern. So I guess being slow getting to his feet didn't make a difference because he just jumped right on top of Brian Tornetta. Probably his arch rival in this game because they're both running backs playing the same position. It's going to bring up 4th and about 10.
But I believe the PW Colonials are going to punt the ball as they are. Last week, I believe the LaSalle Explorers had a fake punt.
Yeah, they did have a fake punt, but I don't think they meant it to be fake. I think it was just a messed up. Wait, whatever it was, here comes a real punt.
And that's a nice spiral kick. Received by number 4. Bobbles the ball a little bit.
Actually, I believe you're thinking of the fake extra point that the LaSalle Explorers had that they ran in for a 2-point conversion. I don't think they had a fake punt to the best of my knowledge. But whatever happened last week,
is
25 seconds left on the clock here at PW this week. And the Upper Dublin Cardinals have 73 yards to go if they want to get this touchdown. That's 3 yards per second.
And they're going to have to air the ball out if they want to do anything, but they have to be careful because, like I said, their quarterback isn't top-notch, and it just takes 1 slip for the Colonials to intercept the ball, run it back for a touchdown,
so let's
give them an even bigger lead going into the locker room.
Let's see a run play here, and if that doesn't work, then they'll pass.
Dewsbury gives it, as Andrew just mentioned, a nice running play. Only gains about 4 or 5 yards on that carry.
It's Ricky Stern.
So Ricky Stern gets the carry. He's going to carry it for about 5 yards or so, which is going to bring up about a 2nd and 5 situation.
Brought down there, a joint effort by Tim Fleming and Chuck Tornetta. I wonder if I know a Ricky Smith, and that's why I keep saying it. I don't think I do, but... Do a twist. Anyway, it's 2nd, about 5 for
it looks like the Colonials called a timeout as the glorified Water Boys go on the field.
Glorified? What makes them glorified?
I have no idea. It's just a word I thought of. They will go on the field to refresh the Colonials, give them a little energy. Going with 11 seconds left in this first half.
There you see on your screen Greg Stokes, the kicker, the kickoff guy, the kicker, extra point kicker, field goal kicker.
And right behind him, Joe Mesmer, who is out for the season, a big loss for the Colonials.
And right behind him is Sean Tamaro, who's off the field right now.
Joe Mesmer, a tight end and a defensive end, so Mesmer stepping in big shoes, taking the place of Stu Kupfer, who is a Colonials ace tight end who was definitely a big contribution to the Colonials team the last 4 years. He graduated, now attends Lafayette. Brother of quarterback Paul Kupfer. Right now there's 11 seconds left in this first half, and it looks like Dewsbury's probably going to air it out.
Yeah, air it out, Dewsbury. Be smart. He's back to pass.
Gives it off to number 3.
Oh, I think it's
three.
gonna
It's
be-
going to be another flea flicker, and it's going to, almost intercepted, but smartly Steve Fulmer lets it go out.
I'll tell you what. During the second half, they better stop using that play because it doesn't work.
And let me tell you one thing: if they're going to keep doing that, they might as well let that the person who just threw that ball be the starting quarterback. I mean, he's got a better arm, it looks like, than the starting quarterback. But we're not going to talk down on their team. We're just going to say positive things about both teams right now, as the Colonials, with 4 seconds left, hoping to, as you can see on the scoreboard right now, there's 4 seconds left.
This is going to be a Hail Mary, one of the best plays in football, so let's see them air it out.
Let's see how good his arm will be. And he runs the ball, surprisingly.
Oh, well. Ricky Smith, pick up of about 8 there.
And that's going to bring up the end.
Ricky Stern.
And that's the end of the first half with the score Colonials 20 and the Upper Dublin Cardinals nothing. Colonials scored on 2 touchdowns by Brian Tornetta and a touchdown by Bob Travellini. Unfortunately, Bob Travellini's touchdown was not completed by the extra point by Greg Stokes, who kicked it wide left.
Now let me give you some words to ponder over during halftime when we go to the break.
Before we go to that, Andrew, we're going to go to our man on the sidelines, Russell Goldich. What do you got for us, Russ?
General consensus from the bench, good first half. I talked to a few players down here, including Sean Tamaro. What he told me was that the Upper Dublin running game has been really good so far, and he expects that the Upper Dublin offense is going to be really potent in the second half. But what he said to me was, don't worry, PW is going to shut them down. John Plower, or he told me to call him Clipboard John Plower, told me that PW has been running the sweep real well tonight, and they did a good thing by establishing the run earlier and getting a good lead. So the players are all expecting a really good second half, and the attitude down here is a lot different than it was last week. So, Russ Goldich, back to you guys.
Thanks, Russ. And right now, Andrew, why don't you give us a few stats before we go to the break?
Yeah, well, before we go to the break, I just want to mention something about Ricky Stern's playing out there. I mean, towards the beginning of the second quarter, he might have gotten a little tired out there. I mean, he does do a lot for this team. He's the kick returner. Let's not forget he's the running back, the go-to guy. He's a middle linebacker. He's a tailback. And maybe that's why he didn't have enough power in his throw during that second flea flicker. You may remember in the second quarter, the second flea flicker, which he threw an interception to Brian Tornetta. And now we're going to give you some stats. Oh, excuse me. Paul Kupfer is 1 for 2. 11-yard pass. Doug Tewsbury is 1 for 2 with a 55-yard pass. On the rushing yardage board, Brian Tornetta is 5 for 80 for 90, and Billy Boggs is 4 for 50. Tim Fleming is 1 for 7. Travellini is 3 for 70. Pratt is 5 for 20. And on Upper Dublin, Newman is 1 for 3. Ricky Stern is 7 for a lot. It's about 40. PW's running backs, we only have 1 55-yard pass by Brown. And Tornetta, I'm sorry, that's a mistake. Markey has 1 catch for 55 yards on Upper Dublin's side. And of course, Greg Stokes has 2 extra points and he missed 1.
So that is going to bring us to the break. So with 17 minutes and 47 seconds left in this intermission, we are going to go to break. So we'll see you we'll talk to you in the second half. Okay, welcome back to Colonial Field. Right now there's 50 seconds left in intermission as the Colonials took a 20-0 commanding lead in the first half. 2 touchdowns by running back Brian Tornetta and a touchdown by running back Bob Travellini.
And while we're talking about one of the 2 running backs by Brian Tornetta, I'd like to talk about the major turning point in tonight's game. If we have that all queued up in the truck and ready to go. Watch here as as Tewsbury drops back for the pass, gives it off to Ricky Stern instead, and he airs it out, intercepted by Brian Tornetta. You don't see the interception, but you can see Brian with the ball. This, of course, would be the turning point of the game. That occurred in the second quarter when the score was only 7-0. On that, the ensuing play, or the ensuing 2 plays, Tornetta took it 80 or 55, 60 yards for a touchdown, which made it 14-0. Then, of course, a third touchdown by Travellini for 63 yards. That would be the third touchdown of the 3. Missed extra point will make it 20-0.
So right now, if you put it in perspective, Colonial is definitely with a commanding lead in the first half. And in the second half, we're looking for more positive things out of them. In the past, the second half has always been more dominant than the first half. And if we see a more dominant second half than this first half, PW is just in for a destroying on the Upper Dublin Cardinals team. They just want to slaughter this team. So right now, we're getting ready for the opening kickoff of the second half. The Colonials' number 14, Greg Stokes, will be kicking off to the Upper Dublin Cardinals. A little line drive kick, bobbled by the Cardinals, and they just jump on it on about the 26-yard line.
I think Fulmer's not. Was that Fulmer kicking off there, or was it Stokes?
That was Stokes. Fulmer's the punter.
Stokes, I don't think he's putting everything he has into his kickoffs now. They're just little squib kicks that end up at about the 25, 30-yard line. But the Cardinals don't seem to get a good grasp on the ball and run it back as they should be. We haven't seen much productivity out of their kickoff and punt returns. But we're hoping, well, we're not hoping. I guess they're hoping that will change throughout the game.
So right now, Tewsbury calls out the play. Number 46 in motion. Tewsbury gets the snap. Laterals it back. Number 20, Ricky Stern, who had a great first half. Stern breaks it. He's got one man to beat. Colonials catch up to him and tackle him for about a 20-yard gain. So they get the first down and more and bring it out to about the 47-yard line.
Stern obviously had the biggest halftime speech by the coach. You saw he was brought there by A.J. Carter, but the damage had been done already, 20 yards. He needed those 20 yards. He needed to build his confidence. I mean, he got a great rest at halftime. He was beat up, banged around, murdered by the PW defensive line. And now he's got a little bit of his confidence back, and the 20-yard gain proves it.
And hopefully that 20-yard gain will be a sign of things to come for this Upper Dublin Cardinals team. Hopefully that will not occur if you're looking in the perspective of the Colonials team. Cardinals looking to drive with a gain of about 20 right there. They bring it out to close to midfield and about the 45-yard line. And the Colonials led by Big Chuck Tornetta and number 54, who I believe is Jeff Fox, just take down that rush right there for a loss of a few yards.
Jeff Fox, I believe he's injured. I think that was Jeff Brown and Chuck Tornetta that brought down number 4, Justin Newman. It's going to make it 2nd and 11.
So with 10:36 and counting left in this third quarter, the Colonials up 20 to nothing if you're just joining us. 2 touchdowns by Brian Tornetta, a touchdown by Bob Travellini, his first touchdown of the season. Right now, Tewsbury with a man in motion, laterals it back. The running back gets a gain of about, Justin Newman on that carry gains about 7 yards on that, which is going to bring him about a 3rd and 3 situation for the Upper Dublin Cardinals. So in the past, Andrew, the Upper Dublin team has been pretty competitive. I don't know, if they lost a lot of players over the year. I haven't done much research on the Cardinals team.
Well,
but in the last couple years, they've been pretty productive. And this year, 0-3, it just shows it. They haven't, come out to a big lead. And
it's true that you say that most of the players from last year graduated. I can count on my fingers alone how many seniors they have on their team. Their team is compiled mostly of juniors and sophomores, no freshmen. So they have a pretty young team.
Handoff to number 20, Ricky Stern. Stern gains about 1 yard shy of the first down. That's going to bring up about a 4th and 1 situation. And as we're talking about sophomores and juniors on this Upper Dublin team, if you look at the 2 sidelines, the PW Colonials team, I'm not going to count it up and add it up for you, but they probably outweigh the team by, 1.5 times the size at least. I mean, if you look at the Colonials team, they're huge compared to this, Upper Dublin team. I was looking at a few of the people in pregame, and they just don't have a very big team. They have a few players that stand out for them, but for the most part, they have a small team compiled of mostly sophomores and juniors, as Andrew just mentioned.
Right, and I lied before. Jeff Fox is out there, so he might have made that tackle before. I didn't see. Point is, timeout is called, and the Water Boys storm the field.
So right now there's 8 minutes and 49 seconds left in this third quarter. Right now the score is 20-0. If you're just joining us, I'm Eric Kitai, along with color commentator Andrew Zimmer and sideline reporter Russell Goldrich. And Andrew, now that we have a few moments, or actually Andrew's getting his 50-50 club ticket out right now to see if he is a winner. He's got about 60 tickets over there, so let's see if Andrew's money came out. Anyway, now that Andrew puts his headset back on.
I don't know why I buy these things anyway. I never win.
Andrew,
Ever.
I'm just going to, right now we're going to take a moment and thank the crew of this CITV out on the field right now. Andrew, why don't you tell us a few of the crew members right now?
We got Brad Bernstein on the sidelines with a camera. Anthony Zangaro's on the sidelines. We got Elvis up top doing the main camera. That's Drew Krause, and I call him Elvis because he's wearing a pair of blue suede shoes. In the truck is Lawrence Lai, Andy Linton, and Craig Young is in there, I believe. Craig Young, right? I got it wrong earlier. Mr. Quinn's in there. And Josh Orlow, a newcomer to CITV, is also in there. 4th and 1.
4th and 1, and they look to push the ball, and it looks like they might have just gotten the first down. They might have to bring out the chains for this one. It just depends where the spotting is. The ref does spot it as a first down, so the chains will be moving as the ref does signify the first down.
There you go, 1,400 dimes. Well, that's only $140. That'll do it. Yes, sir. Who are you? Bill Kohler? Okay, Bill. Good luck.
So a nice man by the name of Bill just won the 50-50.
Of course, a nice man by the name of Andrew Zimmer didn't. Who was that last carry by? Eric, I missed it. Did you see? Was it Smith?
Stern, you mean?
Stern.
It might have been.
Yeah.
But that run was just by Stern. Actually, I don't think it was by Stern. I think the quarterback might have kept that himself. I think it was a QB keeper right up the middle to gain that, to push in for that first down, and they did push in for the first down, got a first down. Right now, it was 1st and 10. A few yards on that carry, about 3 yards, so it's going to bring up about a 2nd and 7 situation, a 2nd and 8 situation, with 7 minutes and 56 seconds left in this third quarter.
Tim Fleming and Chuck Tornetta join effort in bringing down Ricky Stern.
Right now, you just saw on your monitor, number 10, Tewsbury coming on the field after he got the call from his coach.
I forgot a crew member. Tev Galley is up on top with Elvis.
So that's a handoff. Running play for about a yard on that, so it's going to bring up about a 2nd and 7 situation, or a 3rd and 7 situation, excuse me. Possibly a 3rd and 6 if he got that second effort. So right now, this Colonial crowd is pretty much packed. The stands are full, the cheering section's full, the standing room is full, and everybody is pumped up. Definitely a turnaround from last week's game. Colonials lost last week, unfortunately, the LaSalle Explorers, but this week, pumped up more than ever. The team was led by tri-captains Chuck Tornetta, Jeff Brown, and Paul Kupfer, and they're just all pumped up with the return of a key member of their team, Sean Tamaro, and right now they're after a commanding 20-0 lead. As the whistles blow and flags are flown, let's see what the official call is. That's going to be a delay of game assessment on the Upper Dublin Cardinals, which is going to be a 5-yard penalty.
It's going to bring up, what, 3rd and 12?
I believe so.
3rd and 11 for the Cardinals.
It's coming up 3rd and 11, 3rd and 12.
Same difference.
Right now, if I had to make a judgment call, I would probably say that Tewsbury is going to air this ball one.
Popcorn?
No, thank you, Mr. Zimmer. And he does go back to throw it.
He's going back
rushed.
too far.
He's rushed, and he just runs out of bounds. Was he dropped? He was dropped.
He
I
was
believe.
dropped.
And there's a flag thrown, Andrew. That might have been a unnecessary roughness.
Definitely. Nursing get the smelling salts. He's out for good.
You know, that's just something you just don't want to do. Regardless of how the team plays, you don't want to injure the quarterback. You don't want to make the quarterback hurt. You don't want to tackle him in a way that he's going to be injured. You know, I mean, the quarterback should be protected, and that was just a bad judgment call on the part of the Colonials.
On the part of Justin Pratt, to be specific, he's the one who...
That's going to be a personal foul on the Colonials, which is going to be a 15-yard penalty, and it's going to bring up a first down.
I don't know. Did you see Tewsbury get up? I didn't see him. Is he running out there?
Tewsbury's still down.
Yeah, Tewsbury's still down. I told you, he's not getting up. So they're bringing in...
Looks like they're bringing in number 3, who is Justin Brandenburg. Justin Brandenburg, a junior for the Upper Dublin Cardinals team. And if we can get an update...
Actually, he's going off the field. I don't know. It looks like Justin... No, not Justin Newman either. I don't know. Is that...
Justin Newman is... I mean, Justin Brandenburg is on the field. He just went off to get the play call. Andrew, we're going to take a look at this last play, Andrew. Why don't you tell us if you can see what happens?
Let's see if Justin Pratt... Let's see if we can see from the replay how hard he really hits him. There he is. Just watch how Justin Pratt, boom!
Oh, that was number 44, Jeff Brown.
Looked like...
Justin Pratt rushed him off, and Jeff Brown just came up and just... Basically, he made him a speed bump in his way.
Yes,
you know, he just said, "You're not in my way anymore, and you're a speed bump for me, and I should end it with that speed bump." Almost a block punt.
Was it 4th and 6 there?
Yes, it was. As
it was a penalty.
Tewsbury's still down. We're going to try to get an update on you if we can get that.
Maybe if Russell can hear this. I don't know if he's in the truck or not. Let's see if we can get him to the other side of the field to find out how Tewsbury's doing. Because I know Russell usually does his reports from the Colonial side of the field, but maybe if you could just run over and see how Tewsbury's doing. And he is nowhere near the truck, so I don't even know why I just said that.
Looks like he's got cramps. They're trying to stretch his legs out.
Yeah, they're stretching his legs out on the other side. The high-powered binoculars we have up here in the booth are showing.
So, Andrew, it might be that he was hitting the leg pretty hard. It might be that he got cramps when he went out of bounds. We don't know exactly, so we're not going to speculate. But hopefully he's all right. We definitely don't want any injuries to occur. So right now, Pratt on the carry for about 3 yards, which is going to bring up about a 2nd and 7 situation. Right now, there's 6 minutes left in this third quarter. If you're just joining us, I'm Eric Kitai along with Andrew Zimmer.
Hello.
The Colonials scored early in this game in the first quarter, along with the second quarter, I believe. Two touchdowns rushing by Brian Tornetta in the first quarter, one for 19 yards, one for a storming 49 yards, I believe.
There you see Paul Kupfer getting the play and relaying it back to his team.
And in the second quarter, Bob Travellini with his first high school career touchdown for 69 yards.
A lot of sophomore running backs we have on this team.
As the handoff to Bill Boggs. Bill Boggs right at the middle and gets stopped after a gain of about 2 yards. So that's going to bring up about a 3rd and 4 situation.
I mean, think of who we got running the ball for us. We got Bob Travellini, who's a sophomore. Brian Tornetta, also a sophomore. We have Kupfer, who's a senior, sometimes takes it off himself. But we got Boggs, Fleming, and Pratt, who are all juniors. We got a really young team on the running back side of it.
So right now, Paul Kupfer getting the signal, relays it to his team. Boggs half motion. Number 27, Justin Pratt, stopped up for a gain of no yards. That's going to still bring up a 3rd and 2, maybe a 4th and 2 situation right now. It is a 4th and 2 situation. So let's see if this Colonials team is going to go for it. I would assume they're going to punt as they do. You know, they're not going to risk anything, being up 20-0, and they're on the 27-yard line. No reason to risk giving up some points if you can get it off for a Steve Fulmer 35, 40-yard punt.
Forward kick for the Colonials. Brown deep for the Newman deep for the...
It's a...
Fulmer getting the snap, perfect snap to him, and a beautiful punt, end over end. and the Colonials just swarm him, and it's at the point that he caught that ball, he was taken down with that ball, and that was at about the 42-yard line. So that's going to be a 1st and 10 situation for the Upper Dublin Cardinals at the 42-yard line. With 3 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in this third quarter. Right now the score is 20-0 in favor of the PW Colonials.
I'm looking right now to see if Tewsbury is back on his feet. I don't see him. Yeah, they're bringing back out Brandenburg. But I'm looking for Tewsbury on the sidelines here. I do not see him. I think he's still down. Brandenburg makes his first appearance in the game here as quarterback.
Second appearance. He was in last downs also after
But he
Tewsbury went out.
He didn't do anything, though. It was a punt.
Fleming makes that big tackle right there as Ricky Stern makes that carry for no gain, maybe a yard if he was lucky. It's going to bring up about a 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10 situation for the Upper Dublin Cardinals with 3 minutes and 29 seconds and counting left in this third quarter.
Watch the pass, watch the pass, watch the pass.
So right now,
Upper Dublin setting up with a wide receiver on the far side and a tight end on the near, but they're going to lateral
it off to number 4. Number 4 driving down and just about has that first down. I don't know where the officials are going to read that. If you ask me, that was a first down pretty much. Number
Justin
4
Newman.
was Justin Newman. So let's see where the officials spot this ball. Right now, it looks like they're spotting it pretty close to the first down marker, and I think they're going to be moving the chains.
Travellini and Brian Tornado were the 2 tacklers in that attempted to prevent for a first down.
And right now, there's 2 minutes and 53 seconds remaining in this third quarter. Once again, the Colonials up 20-0. Beginning of the game, not a very big crowd at hand. Right now, the stands are full, the crowd's cheering, the cheerleaders are cheering. Everybody's going crazy, hoping and wishing and knowing that these Colonials will come out with a victory tonight. So as that timeout winds down, 2 wideouts for the Upper Dublin Cardinals with a 1st and 10 situation on the 45-yard line. Let's see if Brandenburg can create something with an I formation. Number 7 in motion. A lateral for a gain of about 3 yards, maybe 4, which is going to bring about a 2nd and 6 situation. That run was by number 4, Justin Newman.
Newman, of course, as you see there, has the dirtiest uniform I've ever seen. I believe that's a hole in it on his shoulder.
Possibly. Earlier today, it rained a little bit, so the field got a little sloppy. So therefore, if the players are being tackled on this dirty field, their uniforms are going to be dirty. But that just makes it look like they played harder, doesn't it, Andrew?
Oh, yeah, of course. And, ooh, hard hit. Steve Mastromato, the running back there, brought down tough.
Lost about 3 yards on that play. It's going to make it about a 3rd and 3 situation. He was brought down by number 44, who was Jeff Brown.
3rd and 9 for the Cardinals.
So right now it's going to bring up a 3rd and 9 situation for the Upper Dublin Cardinals right now. There's a minute and 15 seconds left in this third quarter. We still do not have an update on Tewsbury. Right now it looks like Tewsbury's up and walking around. It does look like he has a sore hip, however, but it's a good sign that he's up and walking around.
It looks that way from up here. Must be a medical doctor. I'm kidding. It was a joke.
So sack. A swarm of Colonials led by Big Chuck Tornetta, number 27 Justin Pratt, and number 44 Jeff Brown.
Also,
sack Bradbury.
Also in there was Fleming. His name's Brandenburg.
Brandenburg, excuse me. Tewsbury's out on the sideline right now. So Brandenburg getting sacked for a loss of about 6 yards, which is going to bring up a 4th and 15 situation And it looks like the Upper Dublin Cardinals will be going for it, knowing that if they don't get something going at the end of this quarter into the waning stages of the next quarter.
Looks like a long snap for the punt.
And a beautiful punt. That was probably the longest punt I've ever seen out of a high school kicker.
Too bad it went in the end zone, though.
He punted that ball about 60 yards. What a leg.
That was a beauty punt.
No matter, however, the Colonials will get it on the 20-yard line with 2 seconds left in this quarter, so the time is, they're going to have time for one more play in this quarter, and then they're going to have one full quarter to retain this 20-0 lead, and hopefully the Colonials can come out with a victory. So right now we have some Colonial fans cheering, giving some chants. Give me a C-O-L-I-A-N.
C-O-L-O-N-I-A-L-S.
I spelled it wrong.
That's
But,
okay.
They're cheering on the sidelines, and that's a pretty good sign, knowing that the team is behind them. Right now, Jeff Brown with a diving catch.
He dropped it.
Just dropped it. Paul Kupfer overthrew him a little bit. Jeff Brown had a beautiful dive, could not hang on to the ball, and that's going to bring the end of the third quarter. So at the end of the third quarter, no scoring. The score remains 20-0 in favor of the Plymouth White Marsh Colonials. 2 touchdowns, 2 by Brian Tornetta, 1 by Bob Travellini in the first half. And right now, we're going to go down to our man on the sidelines, Russell Goldich. What do you have for us, Russ?
All right, the atmosphere down here this quarter was a little different, but it wasn't bad. Early in the quarter, Paul Kupfer was getting kind of angry, yelling at the team, telling them to start cheering them on, because it was getting pretty dead around here. But it fired them up, everyone was yelling, it was good. Now, a few things I learned this quarter was that they said to me, Chuck Tornetta is playing really well today, but he's getting double-teamed a lot, and that's allowing guys like Tim Fleming to play really well tonight. So it's an interesting fourth quarter. The Colonials still have a solid lead, and I'm excited. It's going to be good. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Russell. And while you're talking about great efforts and great atmosphere down there, Jeff Brown on that last play, great effort on trying to make the diving catch there. Much better effort than when it went in and out of his hands earlier.
So right now, the Colonials will take over on the 20-yard line.
A scoreless quarter.
2nd and 10 on the 20 after the team switched sides. It's a handoff right down the middle for a gain of about 6 yards. That's going to make it about a 3rd and 4 situation. 7 and 42 for the Upper Dublin team. On that tackles, Antwin Cavanis and number 42, Bob Logano.
Travellini on the carry. Gain of about 8. 2nd down, 2.
So right now, as the fans are cheering, Kupfer hands it off. No gain there. Justin Pratt on that carry, no gain there. So it's going to remain it's going to be a loss of downs. It's going to be a 4th and 3 situation on the 25-yard line, and that brings on the punting unit led by punter Steve Fulmer.
That last running play there, he was met by a swarm of Upper Dublin Cardinals. That's the way that the defensive team should be playing all game.
So if this maintains like this, Andrew, as you were saying in the early stages of this game, if we come out to a big lead, we're going to see some second-string action.
Definitely.
And that's probably what's going to happen halfway through this quarter. A great punt by Steve Fulmer going about 35 yards. Number 4 on that return, Newman. Newman breaking it up the sidelines, gets to about the 48-yard line. It's going to be about a 1st and 10 situation on the Colonials' 48-yard line.
Along with the Colonials, number 50, Rob Stokely.
So now, Kitai, what do you see for the Cardinals in this upcoming drive? Do you see a touchdown, a field goal?
Right now, you know, it's not. You never want to see a score on the part of the Colonials team, and Colonials are playing extremely well right now. I just have this feeling that the Cardinals are going to make something happen on this drive. I don't know if I'm going to be right about that, but I have a feeling the Colonials are going to put some type of points on the board. They're not going to let the few fans that are here for the Upper Dublin team down. I think they're going to score a few points. We'll see what happens, though. Flags go flying on the play. Looks like it might be an offsides on the Colonials.
Newman on the carry.
We will soon see. It's a holding on the Cardinals, which is going to be a 10-yard penalty.
And the ref who threw that flag was about 20 yards back. So I guess you got to have great eyes to be a referee. I mean, he was 20 yards back and he still made the holding call.
So that holding call, a 10-yard penalty on the Cardinals, which is going to bring a 1st and 20 situation from the 50-yard line. So right now, with 10 minutes and 10 seconds left in this last quarter and the last quarter of the second half, Upper Dublin needs to get something going if they want to stay in this game. You know, 3 touchdowns is not impossible in a high school football game, but if they want to do something, they have to get something done on this drive. This is a huge drive, as number 10, Doug Tewsbury, back in this game after he was shaken up last quarter. To number 20, Ricky Stern. Stern gains about 5 yards of that back. It's going to bring up about a 1st and 14 situation.
I think Stern was looking to throw that pass on the flea flicker again. He looked for an open receiver and didn't find one. Well, that's my opinion. I mean, he dropped back. I didn't see an open wide receiver. I guess Stern didn't see an open wide receiver, so he just didn't air it out. So that was good thinking on the part of young Ricky Stern.
So that's going to bring up a 2nd and 17 situation on the 49-yard line for these Upper Dublin Cardinals. It's a reverse. Number 46 trips himself up, Vince Markley. And Markley is taken down by number 5, Steve Fulmer.
Right you are.
So a 3rd and 17 with 8 minutes left in this 4th quarter. I would probably go for a passing play, Andrew. I don't know. What do you think?
Obviously, they're going to make an attempt with 20 yards to go. I don't see a running play unless they just don't want to get anyone injured, or they don't think that their quarterback can make a great pass. I mean, we've already seen 2nd and 3rd string quarterbacks in there this game on the part of Upper Dublin.
So right now, Tewsbury back to pass, swings it out to number 4, who is Newman, and that goes right through his hands. Again, a player in the bad spot, Andrew.
Hello, Newman. Drop that ball.
So it's going to bring a 4th down and 20 situation. Now it looks like the punting unit's coming on. I don't know if I agree with that play call right there. You know, they're down 20 points with 8 minutes. The odds are they're not going to come back and win this game. Why not go for it?
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. 8 minutes, they're probably not going to come back with this game. Why go for it? You know, why risk injuries? Why is all you got to ask.
You could look at it either way, as Derek Olsucky comes on for this punt. And another beauty. This guy's got a leg on him.
I bet he's got 2 on him. And that's going to be
And
spotted at the 1 yard line.
Spotted at the 1 yard line. A beautiful, beautiful bounce to the Upper Dublin Cardinals. They could not have asked for anything better than that, as the ball gets spotted on the 1 yard line. The Colonials definitely have to get that ball out of there. As you see, number 58, big Sean Tamaro coming on that field. Again, Sean Tamaro previously missed the last 3 games of the season. Or the first 3 games of the season, not the last 3 games of the season. He had an injury, but he's back right now. His doctor gave him the okay to play. And Sean Tamaro definitely a positive addition to this Colonials team. So as you see, Kupfer going into your screen, gets the call from the sidelines. Right now, there's 7 minutes and 49 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter. 20-0 is the score in favor of the Plymouth White Marsh Colonials.
Carry by Fleming.
Tim Fleming on the carry. Fleming gained about 2 yards on that carry, which is going to make it about a 2nd and 8 situation on the 1-yard line.
Fleming has had a quiet game thus far. 2 carries on 9 yards. 9 yards on 2 carries, excuse me. Tornado weaving in and out of white jerseys there.
And Tornado's going to bring it a few yards past the first down markers, and it's going to be a first down. So a big first down from the Colonials as Tornado brings the ball up and moves the chains with less than 7 minutes remaining in this 4th quarter. Colonials have possession of the ball, leading 20-0. Right now it's a 1st and 10 situation on the 13-yard line.
Here's my guess here. If not this drive, if this drive winds down to 5 minutes and PW still has the ball, we're going to see some second-string players. Next drive, if Upper Dublin does not score, I think we're going to see some of their backups. Fleming fought for some yardage there. Brought down by Bob Logano.
So right now there's 6 minutes and 14 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter. Once again, the Colonials leading 20-0 if you're just joining us. Scoring all done in the first half. The second half has been rather quiet, but that's all you need. You know, you don't need any scoring in the second half if you've already got a 20-0 lead established. You just need to maintain a good defense and hold the other team as a handoff to Bill Boggs. Bill Boggs breaking it right down the middle for another Colonials first down. About 7 yards past that first down marker. And he's going to bring that ball to about the 37-yard line.
Tried to bulldoze through Justin Newman there to get more yards, but he just ran right into him, shoulder first, right into Justin Newman to see, and Justin Newman brought him right down without a second thought.
Now the Colonials have another 1st and 10 situation on the 31-yard line. Cup for back to pass.
Oh.
And he is tackled right after. He had Elzar Camper in his sights, was about to.
That was
Go ahead, Andrew.
That was Mike Levin who got to him right before he threw it to Elzar Camper, as you were saying.
He was about to throw the ball to Elzar Camper, had him in his sights.
Check it out here as Mike Levin broke right through the PW's offensive line, gave Paul Kupfer right on his blind side.
Kupfer knew where his receiver was, knew where he had to get it to.
He just didn't know the defender was coming.
You just got to look on the bright side, Andrew. At least he held on to that ball. Because I mean, when a quarterback's getting sacked like that in the passing formation, you never know where that ball's going to end up. Right now, Fleming gains back the lost yards plus a few more. It's going to bring up about a 3rd down and 7 or 8 situation. Number 42 and number 45 on the tackles. That's number 42, Bob Logano, number 45, John Brandenburg, brother of number 3 quarterback, Justin Brandenburg.
John and Justin. John and Justin. That's pretty cool.
If you say so. Right now there's 4 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in this game. PW on top, 20-0. And right now PW passing the ball. Almost a beautiful one-handed catch by number 44, Jeff Brown. Could not hang on to it.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. PWP reiterated what I was about to say. That defender there on, well, first of all, Mike Levin was rushing Paul Kupfer, and he aired it out to Jeff Brown. Jeff Brown was about to catch the ball, but I think an Upper Dublin defender had his hands around his legs right before the ball could get to him. I personally think that was pass interference. Maybe we'll verify it with the tapes later.
I agree. Right now it's 4th down, and Steve Fulmer in the punt. Nice end-over-end punt. Takes a beautiful PW Colonials bounce.
That's a nice roll.
That bounce is about 20 yards or so. It's going to end up in about the 24-yard line. So that's going to be a 40 or so yard punt. It's about Steve Fulmer's average in this game. So right now there's 3 minutes and 55 seconds left in this game. It does not look like the Cardinals are going to come back and win this game. They put in a valiant effort and only held this Colonials team to 20 points. The Colonials just were dominant in this game. and they're going to take down the Cardinals, and they're going to make them have an 0-4 record, and the Colonials are going to extend their record to 3-1.
I'm not a firm believer that a game is over before it ends. I can only recall back to Buffalo Bills playoffs a couple of years ago. Frank Reich was the quarterback. They were down 35-0 or 35-3, and they came back to win against the Oilers. And I just don't
right
believe
now,
in.
Tewsbury handing the ball off, and number 27, Ricky Stern, gets taken down after a gain of about 3 yards. But Andrew, you got to keep in mind that was a whole half he came back. Right now we have 3 minutes left. So if the Colonials get another possession, all they have to do is run the ball and run out this clock. So I don't think this game is in the reach of the Cardinals, but you never know.
I still want to see those second stringers get in there.
I would probably assume on the Colonials' next possession, we're going to see Steve Fulmer at quarterback.
And, of course, you got your running backs. I guess John DiPolito would get in there. Andrew Piacatelli, maybe. Maybe on the defensive line, Howard Tucker, or on the offensive line, rather. I mean, you never know.
So right now, Tewsbury with the I formation back from number 7 in motion. Hands it off to number 4, Newman. Newman loses the ball and gets it right back. Carries it, gains a few yards, and it's going to bring about a 3rd down and 2 situation. So right now there's 2 minutes and 44 seconds and ticking left in this game. Game pretty much over, but right now the Upper Dublin Cardinals have a 3rd down and 2 situation. It's a complete. And Andrew, if they don't complete this and the 4th down, I would probably be calling it safe to assume that this game is pretty much over.
Yeah, you were right.
The Colonial fans do not cease to cheer, however.
Big Chuck Tornetta brought down. I guess it was Tornetta who brought down Brown there, or rather Justin Newman on the carry. Just ran right into Tornetta there. And why can't I find ends to my sentences anymore?
So right now it's going to be at a 4th and 4 situation for the Cardinals. They definitely are going to go for it with 1 minute and 45 seconds left in this game. Game definitely out of reach for the Cardinals right now, but they're just trying to make themselves look good. Possibly if they can get something going, they can put, a few points on the board. And if you read it in the paper tomorrow, it makes it look like they played a much better game than they actually did. Colonials were just completely dominant in this game. Colonial fans, however, do not cease to stop cheering. They just keep going crazy.
There you see Eric, and I'm sitting down because I'm very lazy, but I'll get up to acknowledge our audience out there. How you doing?
As you see,
there you see up
right
top
there,
on the top of the press box, you can see Tev Galley up there.
And as you saw on the press box, it said home of the Colonials, and that is exactly what it is. The Colonials, not just meaning, the players. It's the Colonials are it's the whole PW family, coming together for the Colonials. If I may say, the family, the whole school are the Colonials.
Shebang.
The whole shebang.
You got the football team, you got me and you up here in the press box.
You got the crew, you got the cheerleaders, you got the fans, you got everything.
All the fans.
All of us are the Colonials, because without the fans, without the crew, without CITV, without the cheerleaders, it would just be another football game, Andrew.
Well put, Kitai. That one's going to go down in the history books. Just another football game. And now it's going to be 4th and 4, I believe.
So right now this is either going to be the last play of the Cardinals in this game, or it's going to bring up a 1st and 10 situation for them. Let's see what happens. Tewsbury laterals it off. And number 20, Ricky Stern, is taken down short of the 1st down, and that's going to be it. The Colonials are going to retain possession with 1 minute and 30 seconds left in this game. They're going to kneel on the ball, probably. Actually, they might not kneel on the ball because the second stringers are going to be coming in.
Yeah, let's see.
Give them a chance.
Let's see who's going to quarterback now. I see a few players I'm not familiar with.
I believe the quarterback is number 5, Steve Fulmer. He is out on the field, taking the place of Paul Kupfer.
Will Miller's out there?
I see Will Miller out there. I see running back John DiPolito out there.
Elzar Camper walking off the field.
Real quick, Andrew.
Will Miller, as I said.
Why don't you give us a few stats before the next play?
Well, you know
Andrew?
what? Let's wait until the end of the game for that, because I'm going to add up all the numbers and give you collective stats then.
So right now, Steve Fulmer hands it off to number 3, who is A.J. Carter. Carter tripped up by his own 2 feet, gains about a yard on that play. Actually loses a yard on that play, excuse me. It's going to be about a 2nd and 11 situation.
Second down, 12.
Some of the fans exiting, most of the fans very loyal to this Colonial team, staying till the end. Fulmer gets the snap, hands it off to number 34, John DiPolito. DiPolito breaks a few tackles, gains about 1 yard past the line of scrimmage, and that's going to bring about a 3rd and 9 situation.
John DiPolito there, I don't remember. Did he have a touchdown last year?
Yes, he did. John DiPolito broke free. He had a few touchdowns, I believe, last year.
I know Brian Tornetta, a sophomore, a freshman, had a touchdown last year, but DiPolito's a junior.
And right now, the clock below 20 seconds. So this game pretty much over. It's either going to be the last play or they're going to have one more play after this. Right now, Fulmer hands it off to number 25, who is Andrew Piacitelli. Piacitelli is sophomore here for the White Marsh. Right now, there's 7 seconds left, and I've yet to see Steve Fulmer pass the ball, but I don't think he will be doing it this game.
Yeah,
right now, 2, 1, 0, the whistle blows, and that is the end of the game. Andrew, why don't you take us through a few stats real quick?
Well, first, let's mention that the score is 20-0, and that calls for 3 touchdowns and a missed extra point. Kicker Greg Stokes there put the 2 extra points on the boards. 2 touchdowns for Brian Tornetta, a 19-yard and a 65-yard run. And Bob Travellini had a 63-yard run. The Upper Dublin Cardinals were held scoreless. Receiving for the Colonials, Brown had a 55-yard pass. Receiving for the Cardinals, Markey had a 55-yard pass from surprise quarterback Justin Brandenburg. That was on a flea flicker play. Newman had a pass for -4 yards. Now on the running back side, Tornetta was 7 for 115 yards. That's a lot of yardage. Boggs was 5 for 50, Fleming 2 for 9. Travellini was 3 for 69, Pratt 6 for 23. On the Cardinals, Newman was 7 for 22, Stern was 11 for 71, Mastromato 1 for -4, and quarterback Tewsbury 1 for 1. Paul Kupfer was 1 for 2 for 11 yards. Doug Tewsbury was 0 for 1, and Brandenburg was 1 for 2 for 55 yards. And that's going to wrap it up here. Kitai, exit.
Right now, as the clock expired and the teams just shook hands in a sportsmanlike fashion, this is the end of the game, end of our broadcast. The score was 20-0 in favor of the Plymouth White Marsh Colonials. And
before we go, I'd just like to thank the PW crew, the CITV crew that we have here. Brad Bernstein, Anthony Zangara, Tev Galley, Elvis, what's his name, Krausen we have up there, Lawrence Lai in the truck, Craig Young in there, Andy Linton directing, Mr. Quinn supervising.
And it looks like right now we're going to be going down to our man on the sidelines, Russell Goldich.
So let's hear what you got.
Well, down here on the bench, it was a disappointing second half for the first team offense. They were really upset that they couldn't put any points on the board here in the second half today. And, you know, they wanted to break 30 today. They didn't get a chance to do it. Next week's another game. You know, everything went really well, though. They did play a good game, so hopefully they'll be able to continue this win with 50 or 90 or 300 more wins over the course of the season. You know, who knows? And, well, it's been a great game, so if you're down here on the sidelines, this is Russ Goldich signing off. Guys, back to you up in the booth.
Thanks a lot, Russ, and that brings the end of a conclusion to our broadcast. So a great game. Once again, the score 20-0 in favor of the Colonials as they huddle up on the field, and their coach gives them a word of confidence. 20-0 once again, 3 touchdowns, 2 by Brian Tornetta, 1 by Bob Travellini. So right now, after a 20-0 victory in favor of the Colonials, I'm Eric Kitai for Andrew Zimmer saying thanks for watching CITV Sports.
Bye now.